Well, hello and welcome to a very wet and windy Donington Park. We're here for the season opener for the 2012 GT Cup Championship. Since its launch in 2007, the GT Cup Championship has become renowned for its diverse grids and close racing. New for this season is a group reshuffle, which sees GT3 homologated and equivalent cars on the front of the grid. Last year's Group 1 will move to Group 2 and so on. We've certainly got some very exciting cars on the entry, and with this weather, well, it's going to be an interesting race. So let's head down to the paddock and catch up with some of the drivers. Well, Mike, good to see you and the TVR back in GT Cup this season. What have you been up to over the winter?
Lots of developing, trying to make it go a bit quicker for the new Class 1. We've added some different front aero to the car just to try and get a bit better turning. And we've taken all the weight out that we had to have last year, which has been lovely to drive the car as quick as it should be, which has been really good fun. A lot of testing, just trying to get the speed up. And it's worked. The car's going well. Well,
Freddie, welcome to the GT Cup Championship. We've got both you and your brother Benji racing with us this season. Tell us a bit about the Nissan. How did that deal come around?
Well, back in the last year we started looking at this year and we thought, GT3 is the route to go. We had a look at there's loads of different cars out there now. Such a great time at the moment for GT3. We landed on the Nissan. Really, it's a British-made car. Really, basically there's not very many around at the moment, so we felt it was a good route to go and sort of get involved with it early.
Well, tyre choice certainly isn't going to be a difficult decision for this first race here at Donington Park. It's wet, wet, wet. Starting on the front row, we've got the Nissan GT3, and on pole position, it's Martin Short in the Mosler.
Thanks, Charlie. Well, the form book from winter testing, we can rip that up now because these are abysmal conditions facing the drivers here at Donington Park, with Martin Short in pole position, Benji Hetherington alongside him on the front row of the grid. Derek Johnson and Jordan Witt round out row 2. Pete Smallwood, first of the Group 2 qualifiers, and Harry Whale, watch for him from the back of the grid. He should be one who could charge up through the field. Rolling start as ever in the GT Cup Championship, and away we go, and away goes Martin Short in the big Mosler. That's a super start from him. He leads the field into Redgate for the first time. It's Derek Johnston who comes up in the Ferrari, and then Benji Hetherington tiptoes the Nissan through Redgate as he gets the power down, the car twitching. Also a good start from Dan Stringfellow. He tiptoes as well through in the BMW and down out of Hollywood and into the Craner curves, the race leaders. Martin Short just trying to find where the grip is in that Mosler. The wet tyres will give them some grip, but compared to the power of these Group 1 cars, it really isn't enough. It means that Derek Johnston in the slightly more nimble Ferrari 458 all over the tail of the Mosler in these early stages, pressurising Martin Short, so the plumes of spray get kicked up from the rear of that Mosler. The change to the group structure this year means that we have got these more powerful cars into the GT Cup Championship in Group 1, and we've still got the multi-mark racing, so it's the Mosler from the Ferrari, and then we've got the Nissan 1, 2, 3, and running very closely in these early stages. Right then, out onto the Dunlop straight, through the Exeter Coppice, sliding the car is Benji Hetherington, and then look at that, it's Lee Mole in the Group 3. Ginetta, who's come well up, using the nimble, handy little Ginetta to move up through the field in these early stages. There's Harry Whale, was at the head of the field. You just saw in the distance Derek Johnston moving through and taking the lead of the race. So Derek Johnston leads it from Martin Short and already sets about trying to pull away. He's carrying a lot of speed into Redgate Corner. He's just going to have to make sure that car's able to get round the corner okay. The rest of the field, headlights ablaze, turn into Redgate. There's Kevin Riley in the second of the Moslers with Lee Mole hot on his heels, and there's Derek Johnson sliding off. Would you believe it? So Derek Johnston, well, we were worried that might be a factory, came into Redgate very quickly and around he's gone, so that eliminates him from the lead of the race. It promotes this as to the battle for third position, with Kevin Riley having Lee Mole in the yellow Ginetta all over his tail. And then it's Dan Stringfellow in the BMW who's next up in fifth position. You can still see the Group 3 Ginetta wheel spinning on the gear change. You can just imagine how treacherous it is for Martin Short at the head of the field. short of vastly experienced GT, saloon and single-seater racer. Benji Hetherington, likewise, BRDC rising start. Very talented driver, but the power coming down from the Nissan as he changes the gear. And this is really far from ideal conditions to start the 2012 season. Right, out of Coppice once more and along the Dunlop straight as Harry Well continues his charge up to the rear of the pack. Chris Bentley in the Group 3 Porsche ahead of him, and through goes Harry Well. That's a nicely judged move if he can make it stick. Yes, he can. Peter Smallwood is the next man up in his sights as Wale looks to move on through the field. Harry and his father Nick, two of the drivers taking advantage of the car share opportunities in the GT Cup Championship this year. As Derek Johnston has gone off again, Johnston beaches himself at Coppice, and May struggles out of there without assistance. The rear wheels spinning up in the gravel trap. Oh dear, not the ideal race for Derek Johnston. At least there's another one to come this weekend. Still Lee Mole piles the pressure onto Kevin Riley into the Craner curves, and with the spray coming up the rear of the motor, it's just tricky for Mole really to get too close to the rear of Riley without losing the visibility and without being able to pick his way around the circuit. So instead he just follows through the old hairpin. Smooth gear change from both, in fact, as they accelerate on towards Schwantz, but no overtaking opportunity there, as still Martin Short leads it from Hetherington. But it would appear as if Benji Hetherington is just starting to answer some questions on that Moser now, and really beginning to pile the pressure onto Martin Short. He'd love to claim a victory for the Nissan in its first outing in the GT Cup Championship. On to Coppice then for Kevin Riley. He's still got Lee Mole on his tail, as Derek Johnson is going to receive some assistance from the Donington Park tractor to rejoin the action. And Hetherington looks the inside of Martin Short in towards Redgate. That's a brave move up the inside. He tries to squeeze through. Martin Short gives him racing room but maintains the outside line and holds on to the lead as a result. And Benji Hetherington, though, setting out his stall, he is determined to claim victory in this one, and he's right under the rear spoiler of Martin Short as they come down the Craner curves. And this is brave driving from Benji Hetherington. Is he going to go for the move into the old hairpin? No, not this time around. Instead, he just follows in to the wake, kicked up by Martin Short. Out of Schwantz and on towards McLean's. You can't really overtake into McLean's. It's always been a notoriously slippery corner in any conditions, let alone the wet, and that's urban myth has it, due to the fuel dropped by the incoming jets coming into land at West Midlands Airport. Whatever, it's a tricky corner, slightly adverse camber as well. Then they turn through Coppice, and Benji Hetherington using all of the curbs. He's trying every which way to get on turn to Martin Short. He slides the car with the gear changes. The power delivery of that Nissan looks to be absolutely vicious in these conditions. A little bit lower down the order, we've got Peter Smallwood there in 95 car, and he is having a good tussle with Chris Bentley. Well, they're both in Porsches. Smallwood running in Group 2, Bentley running in Group 3, and as the groups are predominantly decided by power to weight ratio, it means that in normal conditions the Group 2 Porsche of Peter Smallwood should be a couple of seconds that quicker than Chris Bentley. In these wet conditions, the power delivery may be slightly more forgiving in Chris Bentley's Porsche. As Peter Rowbottom turns through Coppice, he's got Colin Broster on his tail, the pair of them having an enjoyable tussle as they accelerate onto the Dunlop straight, back to the leaders. And still Benji Hetherington hasn't been able to find a way through, but he tries to close on Martin Short down through the Craner curves. He's going to look into the old hairpin. Yes, he does. It goes to the inside. Will he get the car stopped in time? He does. What a brilliant move from Benji Hetherington to take the lead of the race. That is such a difficult move to pull off in the dry, let alone the wet. He takes the lead as Harry Wale continues his march up through the field. He is challenging Dan Stringfellow around the outside of Stringfellow. He goes as back to the Bentley and Smallwood battle, and still Chris Bentley able to keep Pete Smallwood at bay. Want to try from, in fact that's a change, isn't it, because Bentley's gone through past Pete Smallwood as off goes Lee Mole. Does he hit anything? No, and if I was Lee Mole, I'd buy a lottery ticket tonight, because he is very, very lucky to have kept that car out of the barriers, and he actually rejoins as Kevin Riley loses it now, and Riley out of third place across the gravel track. Will he keep it pointing in the right direction? He's going to have to be gradual throttle to rejoin, and around he goes. That's a great shame. It means that Harry Wale is now up into third position as Chris Bentley continues on his way. He's just on to the tail of Peter Rowbottom. That's to put a lap onto Peter. And of all the days you want to be racing a Ferrari 430 Spider, today probably isn't it, because without a roof can imagine that Peter is getting quite damp in the cockpit of that car, but he's still, I'm sure, enjoying himself nonetheless, as he is still in 10th position. Right, Benji Hetherington into the closing stages now. It has been a fine performance, because in these conditions he really has taken the fight to Martin Short. Now he's got past Martin, has been able to pull out a 15 or so second advantage. He still slides that Nissan, and he's going to have eyes on stalks, isn't he, by the end of the race, as another car goes off, and that's David Witt, who rotates again, but he will rejoin us, flashing his headlights, having taken the checkered flag, is the race winner, Benji Hetherington. It's been a great drive from Benji, and he takes the win in the most difficult of conditions here at Donington Park. So here are the final results, with the win for Benji Hetherington, second place to Martin Short, Harry Whale coming up to third place, and the Group 2 victory with Lee Mole, despite that spin. An excellent fifth, claiming Group 3 from in sixth place, Chris Bentley. So here are the group results. Group 1, Benji Hetherington from Martin Short and Dan Stringfellow in the BMW. Group 2, Harry Whale claiming the victory from Peter Smallwood and David Witt. And Group 3, well, Lee Mole and Chris Bentley gave us some great entertainment, with Lee Mole claiming the honours.
Well, Benji, congratulations. First race win in the Nissan. How's that feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good, yeah. It feels good to finish, actually, because that race was pretty treacherous. So to finish the race was probably more of a bonus than anything, really.
We believe Freddie's doing the next race, yeah?
Yeah, he is, yeah. So hopefully he can replicate the win.
And you'll be kicking back, keeping dry?
Just a bit, yeah.
Well, Harry, congratulations. Third overall and a win in Group 2. That was some drive.
Yeah, it was, as I said beforehand, it was just a learning experience, really. It was just, I have to admit, the Porsche, extremely impressive with these conditions. The traction coming out of the corners, you can see I was getting past some cars just out of chicane, and just you can put the power down so much earlier. So no, I'm really pleased that's my first win. So, and a big thanks to Intu Racing. They've done a really good job with that car. It was set up really well.
Well, Lee, congratulations on winning Group 3 there for you. How was that?
That was really good fun.
Yeah.
Really good fun. Yeah, it's the first time, Group 3 car, and we were having a good scrap with the Group 1s, really, because they just couldn't get any power down at all. So no, I really enjoyed it. We didn't have window wipers, unfortunately, so I couldn't really see where I was going too much. But if they can get that sorted for the next race, I'm really looking forward to them.
Other than the visibility, how's the Ginetta in the rain?
It's good. No, they sit down well, because this has got less power than the other guys. You can just get out the corners quicker than them. So it is such a good crack around there.
So you're rather happy that it's looking wet for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I am, yeah. I'm probably the only one.
Well, that's it for race 1 here at Donington. The weather certainly doesn't look like it's going to let up, so make sure you join us after the break for a rather soggy race 2.